Thank you. Senator Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Admiral, great to see you again. Appreciate our meeting yesterday. Congratulations. I want to congratulate and thank your wife, Linda Lee, as well, the Master Chief of the Coast Guard who's here. I've appreciated you coming up to Alaska many times already. I'd love to see you more. We love our Coast Guard in Alaska. You know, I don't like bragging about Alaska, but I always do. So we have more coastline than the rest of the country combined. So the Coast Guard is really important.
Did you just say you don't like bragging about Alaska?
I do like bragging about Alaska, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And you love hearing it. And by the way, I want to really thank, and this is Alaska, Texas issue, the rescue missions you've done in our recent, the typhoon in Alaska, the big floods in Texas, just heroic efforts. You and our National Guard, Coast Guard members saved 51 people in Alaska. Didn't make any news. You saved 51 lives. It's just unbelievable. Crews operated in the middle of a typhoon, isolated, flooded communities, no infrastructure. It was just incredible. So can you please pass on my thanks, the committee's thanks for the great work you're doing?
I will, Senator. Thank you.
And when I thanked them, I told them, look, it's never been a better time to be in the Coast Guard. The chairman and I worked very closely with Secretary Noem and you, sir, on the budget reconciliation bill, the biggest investment in Coast Guard history, $25 billion. By the way, I just walked past the Senate Liaison Office, this giant sign of the Coast Guard outside your Senate Liaison Office, historic investment. That's what's happening. It's great. And part of that, Senator Cruz already talked about 16 icebreakers in the budget reconciliation bill. We need it. As you know, the number I actually have, the Russians have 54 icebreakers, many of which are nuclear-powered, weaponized. The Chinese, I think, have more heavies than we do. We have 2 heavies right now, and 1 is broken. So we got a lot of work to do. I want to thank President Trump, who has been very focused on closing this icebreaker gap, as we call it, in Alaska. But as you mentioned, the Russians and Chinese are all over my state in the Arctic. We've had 6 Russian incursions in our AIDAs since August. And as you mentioned, we had Chinese ships, quote unquote, doing research in the Arctic, also known as spying, in the Arctic, off the coast of Alaska all summer. So the Ice Pack event was a great event yesterday to essentially what we want, and I know you want, to build icebreakers and deploy them and home port them very quickly. Can I get your commitment to work with this committee on doing just that?
Mr. Chairman, if confirmed by the Senate, I will work with this committee to do that. Yes, sir.
And now in terms of home porting icebreakers, especially the heavies and the mediums, I can't imagine any scenario where you wouldn't home port icebreakers where the ice actually is and where our adversaries are. That hasn't always been the case, as you and I talked about yesterday when I was the chair of the Coast Guard Subcommittee. I'm still the chair right now. When the Coast Guard, a few years ago, you weren't involved with this, announced that it would home port all 3 heavy icebreakers in Seattle over 2,000 miles away from the ice, I learned about it in a press release, which I didn't like. So there was 0 consultation with me as the chairman of this committee. Can I get your commitment to, well, do you agree that was just unacceptable for the chairman of the Coast Guard Committee to learn about the home porting of icebreakers in a press release?
Mr. Chairman, I wasn't involved in that, but I think that it's important we consult with the committee.
Yeah, it was unacceptable. Let me ask to get your commitment to work with me and this committee on the home porting of the medium icebreakers and where we're going to home port those. Can I get your commitment to do that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And look, I know the Coast Guard is working on home porting plans right now. Is there any scenario in which a significant numbers of these medium icebreakers, we have a lot for the Great Lakes already, the heavies are going to go to Seattle, which again, I don't think makes a lot of sense, but whatever, you guys made that decision. But is there any scenario in which a significant number of these medium icebreakers would not be home stationed in the Arctic, in the state where the ice is, in the state where our adversaries are? And our adversaries are up in Alaska, in the Arctic a lot. Can you imagine any scenario where that would happen?
Well, Mr. Chairman, we haven't made any decisions on homeporting yet, but we look forward to working with you as the chair and as other members of Congress on that decision-making process. You and I were, and I want to thank you for being with us in August, along with the Deputy Secretary to commission the first Coast Guard Icebreaker Storis that will be homeported in Juneau. We're very excited about that.
Great. Well, look, again, I want to get your commitment. I already have it. Work closely with this committee. No blind sides for sure, as what happened on the heavies, which I didn't appreciate. But I appreciate your commitment there. Just one final question. We talked about yesterday the delivery and timeline for the 2 OPCs slated for Kodiak. Are they still expected to be holes number 3 and 4? Kodiak has the largest Coast Guard base in the country. Do you know what the timeline is on those, Admiral?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have the exact timeline, but the 3rd and 4th OPCs that are delivered to the Coast Guard will go to be homeported in Kodiak.
Great. And I want to thank you again. I think you're extremely well qualified. We need to get you confirmed ASAP. There's so much work to do in the Coast Guard right now. It's a super exciting time to be in the Coast Guard. The Congress of the United States has said enough of this, as we talked about yesterday. Hey, the Coast Guard has this, which I think is admirable, but this ethos of, hey, we're going to do more with less. Well, if you got 50-year-old cutters and 60-year-old icebreakers, you can't do more with less. So we said, no, you're going to do more with more. And that's why this bill that we just passed is really exciting, and it's a great time to be in the Coast Guard, and I think you're going to be an exceptional leader, and we need to get you confirmed ASAP.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.